Welcome to episode 18. If you just joined, I'm Maria at Maria the Arcane on Instagram, and this is Robin at A Pirate Witch on Instagram. Today we have a special guest, Raven of at Magick Memes on Instagram. She posts all those funny and amazing memes that we're all sharing and loving. Say hi.
Hopefully.
Say hi to everybody.
Hi. I hope you guys are loving it.
I'm not.
I get some backlash. Yeah.
I'm not loving it.
We don't
actually
share them all the time
you
or
here
anything.
so I can critique you harshly on your memeage.
I need to hear it. I need the tough love.
So, Raven, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourselves? How did you start practicing?
Oh, God. Well, I feel like I'm just the same as everyone, where it was like all throughout my childhood, like I'd be into like witchcraft and like shows about witchcraft, movies about it. I'd be in my backyard doing the whole like mud spells, like, oh, it's a potion. And then it just kind of went from there. Like once I became like a teenager and realized it was like something I can actually do, I was like, any way I could. I was like getting involved in it.
That's great.
So
That's what I did.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
What made you want to start Magick Memes?
Oh, God. I always was into memes because, I don't know, I just like humor is like my go-to for anything. Like,
I like kind of into memes.
Focused place. You know, I don't know if you heard of them, but
you ever heard of a
It's
meme?
definitely a cancer thing, right? You guys like to cover up sadness and stuff.
First
with
of all,
humor.
why don't you get up off my dick, Maria?
That's how we process our emotions, through jokes.
Yeah. It's how I deal with
Just want a
trauma.
concentrated place. Yeah, it helps work through a lot. And I feel like the
You've never
witch
heard of a
community
meme?
can be too serious. Yeah.
Yes.
Lighten up, Maria. God.
Sorry. But you also do tarot readings for clients and stuff like that. How did you get involved in that?
Well, I took inspiration from you, beautiful ladies.
Oh, thank you.
I found it, like, I don't know, relaxing and fun to do tarot. And I always did it for my friends and random people. Just, I was trying to get out there and more involved with tarot. And I figured, why not do that? Like, I had enough experience in it. And I just thought I'd offer my services. And it's been honestly so fun connecting with people in that kind of way. Like, I don't know. I just think it's cool, like, the way people will share with you that kind of intimate, like, question that they have. And then you get to connect with them about it. Like, I just love it.
I do too.
Yeah.
Any
nice.
way to do involve tarot throughout the day, let's just do it.
Maria's an addict.
Want me to read for you? For your friend? I got you.
You better be careful for what you fucking wish for, because somebody's be knocking up on your DMs going, I heard you want to do tarot readings. I would love to be a free subject for you.
No,
I'm sorry. I'll take it back.
Oh, Lordy. So, Raven, tell us just whatever you want to tell us about yourself. Talk about yourself, how cute you are, your beautiful red hair.
Oh, God. Well, I mean, I'm here. I do exist. I'm just New England living, trying to exist, you know. It's hard here.
I've never been to New England.
I feel like...
I know.
What? Come then. I feel like the witchy New England community is kind of quiet. Like, I don't know. Like, I see it more on social media now, but, like, that's why I joined it originally, too. Like, just being able to connect with people is awesome. But, like, sometimes in New England, at least Connecticut, like, where I'm from specifically, like, there's just, like, it's so quiet here. Like, there's literally, like, only a few witch shops here.
Mm-hmm.
And they're
You
so
live
spread
close
out.
to Salem, right?
Yes. A couple hours away.
Jealous. So jealous.
It's actually shut down right now. They're getting so mad over there, the people that like live close to it, because people are still going, and I just feel so bad.
Yeah, I see people are still going.
That's no surprise. That's literally no surprise.
I get wanting to go. Like, my husband and I go every year for our anniversary, but we skipped it this year because it's just not worth it. But like, people are saying like, oh, well, the shops are still open, so that's like inviting people to go. But the shops are still open because the locals are still witches too. So, well, not all
Yeah,
right.
No,
right.
I know we've all seen the
Still
crazy
Tuesday.
crowded pictures from like Halloween and stuff there. So I can get their apprehension being like, hey, yo, please, no.
Dial it back,
Stay out,
please.
Sadly, this year's going to be a little different.
That is sad.
It is.
Yeah.
But it's okay. We'll make it
Next
our
year.
own.
The rest of it. Yeah.
Next year. If you've just joined us this week, every single week I talk about the upcoming lunar phase. And I know we talked about this a little bit at the beginning of the month because I was playing a little game of let's pretend there's not a full moon happening because we were overlapped. But it is the Taurus full moon on October 31st, also Samhain, also Halloween, and also a blue moon. So if you don't feel like this moon was made specifically for you, you're fucking kidding yourself. Yeah, jokes.
Cancer. Anyways, go ahead.
Jokes. You can't see it, but I'm doing finger guns. So the
go on.
in general is a full moon that relies heavily on our need for stability, and with Mercury being in retrograde and Mars being in retrograde and just the state of the world, that's not easy to satisfy at present. This is going to be a full moon where you're going to, if we're looking at the energies associated with it, we're looking at kind of trying to accept situations in our life, chaotic or positive, just the way they are. And you don't need to fix it. Sometimes things are just the way that they are, and that's okay. Even if it's hard, it is okay. Now, that being said, in terms of magic, this particular full moon is very, very good for manifesting money. Specifically, like if you're trying to work on your savings account or doing anything that basically builds up your financial security. So this would be a good time to avoid making impulse purchases or, doing the thing that I do, which is when you're sad and you try to buy your happiness with a new pair of shoes or something. Perhaps this is not the time to do that. And instead, focusing on making magic that is about drawing money in as opposed to spending it on dumb shit you don't need. I'm specifically talking to myself at this time.
And me. Call out everybody.
I'm looking at all of you. I know we're all sad right now. You don't need those third pair of Doc Martens. It takes you 10 months to break them in. You don't need another pair. You don't need it.
True,
you want it, but you don't need it. And that's okay. Yeah, so we're looking at a very stable moon given, the nature of the world. So it's stable, but and we have to be okay with it. And that being said, if you didn't listen to the 16th episode when we talked about the blue moon is a time where we do magic that's going to kick an extra punch. So anything that in your life that needs that extra oomph, this would be the time to do it.
I think spell work for stability would be very, very good just because of how crazy, as you said, how crazy things are right now. I don't know how everyone else is doing, but I literally sometimes feel like I'm spinning out of control.
She's holding on by one thread, a single thread. She shows me the thread all the time. It's very sad.
Yes, I do. Look at it, Robin. Look at it. I'm losing my damn mind.
So while you guys are celebrating Samhain, give your offering candles a little kiss on the lips and give it use that little extra punch for something that matters. So,
yeah.
Yay.
Harvest that last abundance.
Yeah. Oh, see, Maria said it to me before we started recording, and I went, I was going to say that, and then I did it.
Oh my God, yeah.
But it is the last of the harvest, and this is a good moon for prosperity, and so the two go hand in hand. Find the metaphor in that and make it work.
So, if you just started listening to us, every podcast we talk about a random tarot card. We go over the universal meaning and then our own interpretations of the cards. Hearing others' opinions helps beginners form their own opinions, or even those who have been practicing for a while expand their views on other meanings. So, this week we're talking about the Five of Cups. And on the Rider-Waite-Smith version of this, you'll see someone decked out all in black. Behind them is a stream, bridge, and a house. They are mourning, tipped over cups in front of them, while full upright cups are behind them. The universal meaning of this card is dealing with tough emotions when faced with disappointment and regret, but the situation isn't a total loss and some good will come out of it. My personal interpretation is that this is definitely a shadow word card. It usually comes up in readings for myself and clients when we have suffered a loss of some sort or are facing some tough emotions. I feel that facing these emotions head on is so important, and that's what the card is saying. Do mourn what happened and go through the motions first before urging yourself to move on, because shoving these big feelings down will just lead them to fester and rot. This is definitely also an ebb card. My personal opinion is that, ebbs are undervalued. While yes, we should remain self-compassionate and self-loving, taking care of ourselves and seeking help when we need it, and actively working our way through them. But at the end of the day, they have a lot to teach us. There are points in our life when we cultivate new ideas and new growth, even though it may not feel like it at the time when we're going through the ebb. When we make our way to the ends of them, we realize we've gained actually so much knowledge from them. So when we are ready to move on after going through these motions, we realize we actually gained, these two cups that are actually behind us, and a bridge to start flowing once again. So, Robin, dear, how do you view this card?
This is the Papa Roach of tarot cards. Of the cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort. This is the most emo card in the entire deck. You cannot change my mind. And I mean that in a very literal sense. Think about being an emo when you're in high school, right? Everything was the worst thing that could have ever happened to anyone ever. You would have a minor inconvenience and it'd be like, oh, nobody understands me. And I feel like we were all that emo. You can't change my mind. You can
Rob and I are still there with our cancer selves.
Yeah, you can literally show me documented evidence that emos weren't like that, and I'd be like, incorrect. But that's very much how I feel about this card, is that you're so focused on the bad thing that's happening, and you're so overwhelmed by that it feels like it's the worst possible thing that's ever happened to anybody, and it quite frankly probably isn't, and it's probably not even the worst thing that's ever happened to you. And that's not that it's not a valid situation for you to feel these feelings. You're allowed to feel your feelings, but feel them and also acknowledge that what's the word I'm looking for here, that this will pass, and it's not the worst thing that happened in the whole wide world, and that's okay. You can feel things and also recognize that it'll get better, and there'll be other bad days, and you know what I mean? Life happens.
Yeah. That's so funny. Your upright version of it is actually my reversed. So
really?
crazy.
It's so emo to me. I think it's the most emo card on the planet. And whenever I see it in my brain, I'm just like, cut my life into pieces. Every time.
I hope you write that for clients.
I never have, but I feel like maybe I should. And then we'll find out who the real ones are. Because they'll be like, I heard that episode.
So, how about you, Raven Deer? How do you view this card?
I feel like I kind of go along with Robin, where like it's a card that means like you have to go through it to get past it. Like it seems rough when you're going through it, but then like looking back, it was crucial. And honestly, I feel like this card is so important to like this year. Like this year has been so rough, but I feel like once it's over, like there's like a lot we had to go through to get through it. Like you can't just expect stuff like finding out about stuff or like going like witnessing anything or just like finding out you're in certain situations. Like that's not like the end of it. Like you have to work through it and then you're going to be able to be over it. Like, so I don't know. I kind of agree with Robin. Like it is a sad card, but it could mean like good things if you just get through it.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It's very similar. It's like a nice amalgamation of what I said and what Maria said. And now we kiss. So, as this is our Samhain special, it sounds like something on a diner menu. As this is our Samhain special, we obviously are going to talk about Samhain, but we also decided this week that we're going to skip over talking about what's stirring and not stirring our cauldron and instead talk about ghost stories. It's quite close to the election and everybody's a little bit, sour pants. So instead of talking about things that are irritating us right now, we're just going to share ghost stories and kind of change the narrative. We thought it would be more fun.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll be back to our normal
irritated.
Bullshit. Yeah, we'll be back to our normal bullshit next week. Yeah, we'll be back to our normal bullshit next week. But this week we're gonna tell ghost stories and I don't know, make it a little bit lighter. So
yeah, I like
starting off, how do you guys celebrate Samhain?
So, sorry. Can I go first?
Yeah,
yes, mother, you can.
Okay. So the actual 31st, we actually just spent it together as a family doing like Halloween type activities. Like this year, it's going to be very different because we're not going to get involved with trick-or-treating or anything like that. We're just going to camp in our backyard and set up a projector and watch Hocus Pocus and like eat a bunch of finger foods and candy until we throw up.
That sounds so fucking good. Can I come?
Yeah. Yeah, you're invited. You're all invited. Just kidding. Please don't show up to my house. Robin's fine though. And Raven.
I was gonna say, what the fuck? You just
I meant like the followers.
Wow.
I meant like everyone who's listening. I don't want like hundreds of people like showing up to the door being like, hey, I got an invitation.
Wow. I thought we were cool.
You guys are invited. Friends are always invited.
Not so much.
Okay. You know what I meant. Hush it.
I did.
Anyways.
It's true.
But okay, but we move on to November 1st, and we usually have like a dead dinner or silent dinner where we set out places for people we have lost along the way and with a picture of them or something that we own that was once theirs. And while we don't do the whole silent part that a lot of people do where you don't talk through the whole dinner, we do talk.
Yeah, I don't do that
talk
either.
about, like the memories that we shared with these people. And we also have like a candle lit for each of them at their places.
That's nice.
Yeah. And then we, do like witchy stuff together as a family all day, like read tarot. Maybe even do a family spell together. I haven't really picked what we're going to do this year, but something.
I almost just said something sexy in my brain, and then I was like, oh, there's a child, Robin. Get it together. So, all right. I need to have a coffee. Yeah. Anyway, well, for me in our house, our Samhain is very different than the kind of European ideation of Samhain because we have Dia de los Muertos immediately following. So I actually don't do the whole silent dinner thing at all. I do a meal and we make an ofrenda and all that. And I do a meal, but we spend the whole time talking and playing music, and it's fun, and we drink and we talk about, you know, the people that we've lost and share fun stories and stuff like that. And
I love that.
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with doing the silent dinner. Obviously, I think it is a cultural thing, though, and you know, in my family, that's not how we do that. You know, we
100%.
Yeah, it's a celebration of those that are no longer with us, and we make their favorite food, and we talk about, you know, funny stories or just like good stories of those people, and it's, I don't know, I personally am not afraid of being dead. I'm obviously like, I don't want to die, like I'm not trying to suggest that, but being like the idea of dying is not scary to me, and I personally don't want anybody to like feel they have to mourn me in like some sad Victorian way, like you know what I mean? It's such a like, I don't know, that's so Victorian. Like, no, celebrate me, like tell embarrassing stories.
I kind of want it.
Tell embarrassing stories. You want what?
I want the waterworks when I die.
Oh my
I want it
God.
all. I want the dramatics. I need everyone screaming over it.
Throwing themselves on top of the coffin.
Punching the ground. Just, this can't be true. Yeah,
lady standing all the way in the back of the funeral in her dark outfit with an umbrella, and everyone's like, who is she? Who is she?
I'm vain.
I love it.
So, how are you celebrating, Raven dear?
Well, it's just me basically because I live with my husband Liam, but he is not a witch, but he basically goes along with whatever I do. Like he's down for whatever.
Oh, we love supportive husbands and spouses. Yes, we do.
I think I'm gonna do, like, I celebrate both Halloween and Samhain, so I think I'm going to do something to contribute to both. This year I did lose some people close to me, so I'm going to do something special for them. I'm going to do some baking, horror movies like always, because that's, you know, a go-to. But I don't know, I think I'm just going to do a simple night this year because it's just been a very long, rough year. I'm just going to do a very calm, peaceful evening. But I'm excited nonetheless. I don't even know what I'm gonna bake yet. I was gonna try something new, but gotta think of a new recipe.
That sounds good.
That sounds really good. You can
honestly
cook
a
me
low-key
food.
Evening.
Yeah, you can cook me food and then send me photos and be like, "Look, it's like you're dead," and then I'll eat it on the astral plane.
A treat.
That all sounds very romantic for me. Let's do that.
Yeah.
We'll
I wish I could send you guys some.
Over to Ravens.
Please do. Please. I would love that, actually.
Just showing up to haunt. Hello.
I'm just imagining like Robin's husband and my wife like walking into us on the astral plane while we're just laying there. We're making yummy noises, and they're like, "What's going on?"
Except I wouldn't be making yummy noises. I'd be going like this. Where's the bread? Carbohydrates.
Get in my mouth.
I'm gonna look into it. There's a way I can send you guys bread through like overnight or something. I'm gonna do it. We can FaceTime.
That'd be
eat the bread together.
That'd be so sick. Yeah, I would 100% do that. Carbs.
Oh my God.
I have to say it though, I can't have wheat or dairy, so this might be difficult.
The fucking celiac ruining the day. Unreal.
I know. I hate it.
A fun twist. I'll work with it.
So, you guys ready to talk about ghost stories?
Yeah. Who's ready to go first? I will go first if nobody else wants to. All right. So I talked about this actually on another podcast. So if you do listen to spiritual shit, you will have already heard this. But you know what? As I was telling the story, I was like, I've never talked about this before. Like, the only person who knew about it was my best friend. And I was like, we're going to talk about this. So a long, long time ago, the year was 1805, and I used to live in this little tiny town called Grayton in California. And if you know where Bodega Bay is, like the movie Birds, where that was filmed, it's kind of in that direction. And it's a little like tiny town. It's barely a town. It's like a collection of 10 houses. And I used to live in this little tiny town and have to take this road, this like Occidental, or I think it was Occidental Road. It doesn't matter. None of you know where this is, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, I used to have to take this road that was really long, had no street lights, anything like that. And it always gets super foggy at nighttime to get there. And I used to work in a mental health facility, so I had really odd hours. And it was like 3 or 4 in the morning, and I'm driving home. It's super foggy, and I just start seeing ghosts, like literally, like in front of my car on the side of the road. Like, and I'm thinking I'm having a psychotic episode. Like, I worked in a mental health facility. Like, I knew what this would look like. You know what I mean? Like, you see firsthand people that are going through their first ever like psychotic episode, and that's what I thought was happening to me. Like, and I mean, I was also very sleep deprived. So like, I also take into account that maybe it was just sleep deprivation. I don't know, but I was freaking out. And there was probably like a dozen to like 18 ghosts that I saw on this drive home. And they were just like popping up on the side of the road. And they were all like accident ghosts, like, you know, bleeding from the face and like really traumatic. And so here I am.
Like I'm like, sleep deprivation, though, the adrenaline would have woke you up from it, like because you were like so stressed that at that point,
right?
I think I'm sold already.
I was bawling my eyes out. I'm like crying so hard, and it was so traumatic, and it just kept happening. And I made it home, and I'm like sobbing. And I live with my best friend and his mom, and my best friend's like, what the fuck happened? And so I tell him, and he was just like, what the hell? And I refused to drive that road alone ever again. Like, I wouldn't drive it. Like, somebody else had to drive it for me. And there was 3 ways to get to my apartment. So I didn't have to take that road, and I never did again. And the next day, because I did have the privilege of working in a mental health facility, I went and talked to the psychologist for free. And I was just like, this is what happened. And he like did some tests and stuff like that for me. And like, I was seeing him for like 2 months, and he was just like, nope, you're totally fine. Like, at least on that front, like there's nothing, quote, wrong with you, quote. And yeah, it like traumatized me for like years. Isn't that crazy?
That sounds like it was terrifying.
Yeah, I forgot all about it too. Like, I completely forgot all about it. And then I was on the Spiritual Shit podcast, and Dylan asked me, what's the scariest thing that ever happened to you? And it like all came back to me like a flood. And I was just like, oh, I repressed this.
Well, I could see why.
Yeah, it was way.
So, who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay,
so actually I have, as I said, I'm trying to save all my ghost stories for like dropping them here and there. But I'm going to share like 3 little ones, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first one's actually a feel-good one. It's really sweet, and it makes my heart warm when I think about it. Growing up, me and my family owned 2 elderly Shih Tzus. Like, we adopted them because they were literally, when we adopted them, they were like 11 years old. But they stayed with us until they were like 16, 17. And I was like super close to them. They would come and lay on my bed. They were always in my room. Obviously, I was their favorite. But eventually old age did hit them, and Sheba went first the year before Fritz did. But maybe a month or so after Fritz passed away, I woke up one night and I saw 2 white orbs at the end of my bed. And, I did the whole blinking thing and like, okay, now wake up. But they actually, I saw them jump off my bed and like go up the stairs because I was in the basement. And I wasn't freaked out or anything. Usually during, like ghostly stuff happens, I freak out and I get like my adrenaline gets pumping as like, Raven talked about. But this, I knew right away that it was Fritz and Sheba and that they came and visited me one last time. It was just such a sweet moment. Yeah.
I'm really sad. You're going to make me cry.
It was just so sweet and I missed them so much, but I feel like that was them like telling me, hey, we're okay. We still love you. We're still here for you.
That's so sweet, Em.
Yeah, I know. I like that story.
I have a story like that, actually. You can continue, though. Unless you want me to tell my brief one.
Actually, I want to share my wife's story, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, this is when she was younger. And I think she said this is the only ghost she's ever seen in her entire life. Her and her friends were playing in the woods. And I guess behind the woods, there's like a field. And they're like playing and exploring, and they make their way to the field, and they just see a lady like in the middle of the field, in the middle of nowhere, in a total, white outfit. So like a white lady just standing there, just staring off. And my wife and her friends just apparently looked at her, stared for a couple of seconds, and like booked it. Because there's no way like someone that would be there in the middle of nowhere in a dress just standing in the middle of a field.
Fuck that.
God. Yeah, what the fuck?
Fuck that.
I've taken off. I've been gone. That's terrifying.
It's a short
that's her only ghost story, and it's like terrifying.
I know, and here's me, like, I'm literally waking up to people screaming at me on her side of the bed, like,
oh my God.
That. And I'm miserable. And she's actually looking at me laughing right now, but anyways. And then I wanted to talk about, like, some things that always happen to me during this time of year. Like, there's always a mist in my kitchen, which I'm not sure if I've talked about.
You've told me about it. I don't think you've talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah, it's like a mist that just stays in my kitchen. I like to think that it's like my grandmother who comes and visits me every year and probably like, hey, this kitchen's a mess. You need to do something about this. I come from a family of cleaners, so my sense of clean is way different than theirs. So I'm just imagining her like mist form, just being like, ugh. Come on. But
it's like shit in here.
But like as soon as the closer that we approach like Samhain and stuff like that, like things start like amping up a little bit. Like last night, like I kept getting like my arm kept getting pulled and like people are touching my arm trying to wake me up. And it just, I don't know, like there's no like way that I'm imagining it, and I'm not like half awake or anything because last night I did have trouble sleeping, so I was just like wide awake and feeling this happen, and I was just like, okay, please just leave me alone for a little bit. I want to sleep. But yeah, it's always at night when I'm trying to sleep, and we know that how much I hate that. But yeah, that's what's been going on.
I just thought, so when you're talking about your dogs and the orbs, right? Remember when we had to put my dog down a year ago? The boxer? Yeah. So we buried the boxer in the yard, right? Ruby, may she rest in peace, truly. The sweetest dog in the whole world. I saw her in the yard for like a week. Just like being in the yard, like being herself, wandering around for like a week. And it made me sad because it made me feel like it wasn't like your story where you're talking about how they were saying goodbye. It was like she didn't realize. Do you know what I mean?
That's
like
so sad.
It was so sad. It was so sad. I cried about it all week. My husband's like, you're fucking crazy. And I was like, perhaps.
I saw what I saw.
I could be, but it doesn't change anything.
Yeah. Oh, that's so... Oh.
I know.
Just want to go hug her. That's horrible.
I know. So Raven, what are your fun stories? Stories.
I feel like genuine ghost stories, like I only have like a couple because like there's been a million times in my life where I'm like, that's definitely a ghost, like could not be anything but a ghost, like I'm sold 100% sure that's a ghost. But then I look back and I'm like, yeah, it probably wasn't. So I never want to like, I don't know, emphasize a story that didn't happen. So I try and focus on the like craziest ones that it like couldn't be anything else.
Yeah.
So I feel like there was one time where when I still lived with my parents, they were rearranging, because my mom always rearranges her whole house like every week. And she was switching around the dining room and living room, and she was plugging in her DVD player. And it's like a 9-slot one for some reason, and it has radio, like it's like the whole deal for some reason. It's like this old ass one. But she plugs it in and it's got this like wire antenna, and it was like off to the side. It was unplugged. She had just plugged it in, and it turns on and starts saying it's playing a CD.
Yeah.
But it starts playing this one specific song, and there's no disc in the whole entire thing. So we were like, maybe it's on radio, but I guess the radio part was disabled, so there was like no way for it to be on the radio. And the song, we had just gotten done talking about my dad's father, who unfortunately passed away when he was a baby, because we were finding out more information about him. And we had just gotten done speaking about him, and the song, I'm trying to remember what song it was. I remember it was by Pearl Jam, but it was a song, I think it was Alive, because he was saying, like, he was talking about a father and son saying, like, I'm still alive, and it was just so fucking eerie. We were just like, we should definitely move. But in a way, it was kind of comforting, because it was like, that was my first reaction, but then I was like, it just almost seemed like it was like his dad just being like, hey, I hear ya. It was just sad. But like my dad doesn't believe in ghosts or anything, and he still recognizes that situation as being like inexplainable, because it was like it was saying it was playing a CD, but there was like nothing in the device, and there was no way it could have been on the radio, so there was just no way to describe like how it was happening.
That's crazy.
And it shut off after that song.
No, it didn't.
It like the machine itself shut off entirely after the song stopped. Like it finished the song and shut off. Like, and we're all, it's my whole family, like my brother, sister, mom, and dad. We're all just sitting there in the room. Like we all just are in shock. So we let the whole song play, because we're just like, what do we do? How did that happen?
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out like how it happened. Like they're looking at the back of it. Like, is it the radio? Nope. And it just shuts off.
Fuck
That's
that.
weird.
Yeah.
I mean, cool. Cool that you got a message, an important message. But I'm going to take the DVD player to the alley and beat it up.
I also think about how like demons pretend though. Yeah, that's what it could have been, but
no, fuck that. No.
Every time I listen to the song now, I'm just like, oh my god, that was terrifying.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's crazy. I love that. I love that for you.
The house I had just lived into, and that was the same house that like most of my ghost stories like happened in.
That's crazy.
So
maybe your house was haunted.
I really think it is. I'm not in it now. I left my family in it. I also brought a Ouija board to it, so that was on me. My mom was always
created that myself.
Now in plans.
That was after that, actually. Like, there was nothing in the house that even should have sparked that. That was, like, such a wild day. But, like, obviously after that, I was stupid and started using one. Here and there, not even in the house because my mom was so strict about it, but I had to bring it in there temporarily for storage. I did, too. It freaks everyone out.
Listen, I'm going to just say this, and I know it's a super unpopular opinion, but I'm going to say it, and then everybody who's listening will be like, Robin. But here's the facts. Okay? At least in my opinion. This is my opinion, it's not facts. But you can communicate with the dead with basically anything. A Ouija board is no more powerful than automatic writing, which you do with a pen and paper. And
do your own body.
Yeah, it literally says Hasbro on it, like right on the box.
Thank
it's
you.
a children's toy.
We're witches. Yes. We work with these kinds of tools.
Yes, Ouija boards are incredibly useful tools. I'm not trying to be like, it's a toy, it won't work. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it is what you make it. And that's my opinion of it. Because it says fucking Hasbro on the box, and I always boggles my mind when people are like, "Don't bring a Ouija board into the house." It's like it doesn't even say Hasbro. I think it's Mattel. Either way, it's a fucking kid's toy.
I think it is Hasbro. Actually, not even right. I was literally saying that verbatim to Liam yesterday because we had it out. Like, we have it in our new house, obviously, because we're idiots. But, like, it's just, like you said, it is what you make it. Like, some people are so scared of it. But I'm like, you have to, like, obviously I don't want to disrespect it or the rules. But at the end of the day, like, it was made by a game company. I bought it from Toys R Us. Like, I have tarot cards as well. And those, like, can connect to different spirits, too. So it's just, like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I respect it. I don't, like, try and provoke anything, but at the same time, like, I feel like using it isn't gonna like ruin your whole life no matter what.
I mean, it ruined my life.
Agree. Oh my god,
my life. I actually bought a Ouija board and now I have a crack addiction. And it's very sad. And I do blame the Ouija board. No, I'm just kidding. Drugs are also very bad, everyone. Please don't do drugs just because you heard this on here. Drugs are not a joke. Very serious. Yeah. Well, does anybody else have any parting stories we can share with the crew?
No, I'm gonna save the rest of mine for our next one.
I honestly have so many, so I can do this forever.
Same. I'm trying to be careful. I don't want I have a lot of small stuff happens to me.
Exactly.
Like, it's just super small. Like, and it's like
enough to know, like, but not enough to put in one giant story.
Right.
Exactly. Like my wife's story. They were in the forest. They came upon a white lady. They were like, fuck that, and then ran away. I mean
Yeah, fuck that.
They didn't go searching.
We get out of those situations. We don't stay in like movies where they're like, let's further investigate this. Let's go deeper into this terrifying situation.
Ask her, she's okay.
Transparent lady in the middle of this woods wearing all white, holding a bloody hatchet. You guys wanna investigate
talk
further?
To her.
Let's go find out
rocks.
why she's here. Yeah, let's throw rocks. Let's go get our Ouija board and summon her. There's nothing about this that could possibly go wrong.
But that's why we don't have as many stories.
Because we're smart.
I'm
just kidding.
Get the fuck out of there.
Because my brain is broken. Honestly, I'm going to just compile a list of me just singing sporadically on this podcast and then post it as a compilation and ruin everyone's day.
and slurping sounds. We could do that. We could do doors closing. We can do stomach rumbling. I mean, it would be awesome.
My cat just being like, help me off the bed, please.
Please do.
Please look forward to that in 2021, you guys.
The Coffee Cauldron's a musical. The musical
episode
episode.
On Broadway.
So, if you've just joined us, every week we talk about creators that we are loving right now. These are people that we found organically on our own. That being said, again, I have to ask this. Please do not DM us asking to be on the podcast. It's not going to happen. When you do that, you're going to find yourself on the other side of a block button. It's very rude. Please don't do that. It makes me angry and sad. You're giving me depression. Please don't do that. That being said, Maria, who's the creator you're loving so much this week?
So I got a new book. It's Not Magick by Sarah Bartlett. And it's like this cute little book that has like a bunch of knot spells. I haven't done like knot spells in like a long time. I used to do them all the time when I was a teenager. But it's just a cute little book that comes with like illustrations and stuff like that and tells you different knots and how to use them magically. And as I said, it's illustrated, so you know exactly what you're doing and how to do it correctly.
I want to get it.
And she even says when to cast a spell, and yeah, it's like
I love that.
Really cute book. Yeah, highly recommend. There's some things, of course, in here that I do not agree with, but that's mostly, I think it's Wiccan based.
Well,
so,
you can say that about any book, though, can't you? There's always going to be parts that are going to be a leave.
Yes, but the information's really good, and I am glad that, because there's not many books out there that's just about like specific types of magic, especially like not magic. Like it'll be in a book, but it won't come with like illustrations and stuff like that on how to do the spell, which I find very helpful. Yeah.
Raven, who are you loving this week?
Oh, the beautiful Cupid Witch on Instagram.
She is beautiful.
She is basically the Love Witch IRL, just not as crazy. She can provide.
I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah, that's true. Crazy in a good way, the very entertaining way. She can provide basically all love spells. I've sent people that ask for love spells to her because, like, I personally it's just not the most comfortable for me personally. Like, it's the spell I work with the least, and I know she specializes in it. Like I said, she's a Love Witch IRL. I have gotten a reading from her, though. She's so in-depth, and her prices are honestly fair for the amount of work she puts in and the amount of years she's been doing it. So if you have a chance, check her out. Her theme on Instagram is also so cute. Like, literally,
it's
her whole
so
aesthetic
cute.
on Instagram.
It is. It's like little vintage
love.
stuff. Yeah.
It's vintage Valentine's,
please.
Which is my whole thing. I love them. I love seeing it. They make me so happy every time I see them.
They do. They make me happy.
And she's so
too.
consistent with it. Like, I really recommend it. She's amazing. And her content is.
Yeah, I've actually gotten a reading from her before too, and I enjoy her readings.
I feel very left out. I'm gonna have to fix that. I'm gonna have to fix that.
Her cards are cute too. Like, she uses the sweetest little deck. Oh my god, I love her.
Yes.
She's precious though.
How about you, Robin dear? Who've you been loving?
Oh, yes.
Well, by now, I think that we've all learned that I like pottery a lot. And
no.
Not me. No, wrong bitch. So this week, I'm loving another pottery account, which I know is so surprising to all of our listeners who are like, Jesus Christ, Robin. Clay Dust Studio. It specifically, the whole reason I started following them was they do this little tray that I already I haven't bought it, but I'm picturing in my brain all the things I would do with it, right? I've already picked all the things I want to do. And it's like the moon and stars and clouds, and it's like this beautiful sunset thing happening. And it's so pretty. And they do a cat on a moon mug, and they do alchemy bottles, and they do pots that are meant to be like cauldrons, like hand thrown cauldrons, and it's got the moon phases on it. It's so cool. So cool. I love them so much. I want one. I want all their stuff. I have a problem. Hello.
Yeah, I've been following them for a while too. I love their stuff. Their stuff is
pottery
so
takes
cute.
so much effort.
It really does. I have so much respect for pottery artists. I really do. Which is probably why my dick is so hard for all pottery work ever. But yeah, I really love their stuff, and I think everyone should go buy stuff from them and then send me photos of it so I can go, I want that too.
Better yet, just send us all some. Yes.
Yeah, just buy me some and send it to me, and then I'll be like, I'll say to my husband, I'll be like, well, I didn't buy it. It's a gift. I can't exactly return it.
Yeah,
why don't you edit that out of the podcast? He's like, and we're just gonna delete that right there.
No proof of that happening.
Oh my goodness. We hope that you guys enjoyed this episode and that you'll join us on Friday the 13th of November for our 19th episode. So keep your eyes out on our respective Instagrams and on our Twitter. If you don't already follow us there, it's Coffee Cauldrons. I try to be good at posting on there. I'm not very good at it. I am sorry, but you should still follow it anyway to find out more information.
Or even better, joining us on our Discord tier, which is First Coven on Patreon, so we can answer your questions for next time. That tier is full, but keep an eye out. You never know.
Yeah, hover around on the first. That's what we always say. Hover on the first. Because that's when people leave. You'll also get to hear our lovely, sensual voices for an additional 30 minutes for being on the Patreon tier casting and above.
Again, this is Coffee and Cauldrons.
With Robin at A Tired Witch on Instagram.
And Maria from Maria the Arcane on Instagram.
And Raven from Magickmemes on Instagram.
Okay, you guys ready?
Ready? Let's do it. Let's do it. One, two, three.
Bye, witches.
Honestly, we only still do that for me. I swear to God.